Welcome to the Out There channel. Live stream 407. Mexican UFOs and Navy UFOs. Let's get stuck in.
I'm searching, I'm loving.
Fun.
I'm finding love, I'm hiding. I'm searching, I'm loving. I'm finding love.
Dark side. Let the pain control your body. At the beginning, there was written.
Anyone out there?
I'm searching, I'm loving, I'm finding.
Yeah, it's been a busy week again. Hello, good to be back. Good to be back. I should play the intro. Let's see if it'll give me enough CPU. No. Why is it not playing? The CPU finally caught up. I need a supercomputer. 1,000 cores. One day. Hey, live stream. We're talking about Navy, UFO, new footage. It's going to be a busy time today. It might be a 3-hour show actually. And Mexico volcano UFOs. There we go. Plenty to cover, always. Finding the time to prepare for it, as well as troubleshoot technical problems. I'm still fine-tuning bugs and drivers and things. Getting around bugs and Windows. I think we got a lot of it sorted now, though. The audio seems to be good, although better check it again. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the alien seems to be in sync. So yeah, all good. So first up, the subs have been going up really slowly. And of course, 0 donations again. I make a sum of $2 a month. I got one donation paying $2 at the moment. Probably make more in ad money now, which is kind of embarrassing because I only get about 20 views on my YouTube episodes now, since I don't do live streaming there. I suppose what I could do is upload the episodes after and turn on Premiere like the other frauds do, and people can side chat while they're watching for the first time, first hour or whatever. That's another way to do it, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried that. Something I should do though. But yeah, I don't really want people donating to Google. 30% is way too much, and they don't deserve it. Sin BitChute's still flying up there. Still the one that's still growing really slowly, but still. Rumble's also growing really slowly, but still, look, YouTube's gone backwards. Look at the stats there. You know, it seems to get up to 2503 and then drop back down to 2500 again. And you can't tell me there's something not strange going on. Like they got their bot aggressively set to purge people or something, or unsub them or something, and make sure it doesn't get too high. It's like an evil corporation as far as I'm concerned. They probably got these evil scripts implemented. You tick a box here. Make sure this guy doesn't grow too fast. Don't promote his stuff. So yeah, we finished up just last time on third phase of the moon. And Scott also verified what I said, that it was just a chroma ejection, with the little hole up here. So basically there's the image, but it's very hard to see, but it develops over here. You can see how it ejects the full sequence from third phase, who aren't hoaxes. There you go. Does it look like a sphere? You can see how it's rotating around, and it creates this little hole there. It's got to be a spaceship, boys. It's got to be. It's been edited by NASA. Bollocks. Okay. So, coronal prominence is the technical name, cavity. Now you got to remember, this is just like a bubbling brew of fusion power, and through that with electrons being stripped away, and you create electrical fields. And what's electrical fields tend to do? They tend to work in arches, right, or circles. Now you're seeing that with the Tesla stuff, right? I'm not sure if you can actually prove that. Electrical charge forming. Come on, Paul. Forming arch. Let's see. Well, that will come up with something. Physics. Electrical fields. Yes. Electrical field at the center of a semiconductor ring. But it was after some pictures. Because I know these people have like 10-minute attention spans, and we can only handle 10 minutes. What if we got any photographs of one? But yeah, as you know, Mother Nature likes to create the simplest things, conserve energy, and creating arches and spheres makes sense, right? Electrical charge arch. Let's see what you get from that. Let's talk about charges here. Brandon Hawk Hutch. Positives and negatives. What else we got? Calculating electrical fields or charge disturbance. So it'd be something like that, right? It'd be something like that, because the sun is a sphere. And so we've got some other ones here talking about rain clouds. Now we talked about electric fields of rain clouds and the lightning going upwards once, and what you don't see is the electrons, because they're invisible to us. Electron flow. But you can see here, mathematics is all to do with arches, which forms circles, which forms holes. Doesn't mean that there's an object there. In fact, it shows there's a void of object of anything. Let's see. Tesla. Let's see what we got with that one. Tesla coil arch discharge. And there you go. Look, you got already patterns showing up here. Although the Tesla coil's not the best one, because that's really lightning. Rather than a fusion ball. Probably Sphere. Let's see what we got for that. Test the cool. I've got one of these. They're pretty cool. You can put your hand on it and you don't get shot. My one looks like this one here. I was hoping to find something natural, where sometimes it forms a nice arch. No, you never know what you find. But yeah, Tesla cool might not be the best thing. But we'll leave it there. So I might have something out there. I know they can simulate fusion so they can get the arches happening. So someone said here, what object? And they said it's very hard to see. So he's pointed it there. But you have to colorize it, which is what they did to sort of get it to pop out. I think he's got another level to it. Looks like it's not going to give it to us. Where it's got black and white pictures. So we'll just go to his page. And there you go. He's colorized it for you. Okay, you can see that the sun's three-dimensional because you've also got some other gases, plasma, further along. That's in front of it. That's sort of bubbling off the surface here. That's covering the one going around the corner. And yeah, it does form a nice perfect circle almost. It's not perfect, but you can see how it's working as like a one side would be charged negative, and it sort of wants to equal out, and it's creating a magnetic field which creates a hole in the middle. Okay, so let's move on. I will post that down the side, I guess. Yeah, I think it's all there on his page. Oh, right, I should have got that one. Corona prominence, it's called. Coronal. I think I spelled that right. Prominence, prominence. I suppose that might be how you spell it. Moving on to more interesting stuff. No doubt they put more stuff up, which I have to go over soon. Never ends. Okay, so quickly go over the Navy footage. Now, the UFOofinterest uploaded a stabilized version of the Navy footage that came out. And this is it. So we'll have a watch of it and I'll give you my opinion on it. Okay, some talking there. Let's see, is it loud enough?
Break Omaha, pick me kid, Rockdale Pearl to pass ability to launch Hilo ASAP.
Splashing your bearing ring.
Sure. You got 2 wins, 30 knots.
Keep going, bro.
We're making 10, so we can probably bring that 35 relative.
So is this on a sub or is it on a ship deck or what?
You got a lot of white water out there, so 6 foot swells.
Whoa, it's getting close.
It's interesting footage, but
Yeah,
what is it?
31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
What was splashed? Splashed. Mark bearing range.
No. I didn't see a splash. You can see the angle of his stabilization.
It's getting close.
See how it's sort of stable in isolation on the object here. You can see they must be moving around on the ship. Maybe not on a tripod either. But yeah, when did this footage record? Have we got a date? 2019. And this is the kind of cameras they had back then. Not as even good as a smartphone, if that's where they're claiming it's from. It's pretty crap footage, isn't it? Unless that's far away. And we're looking at Pixel UFO again, because it does look like it. It looks very low quality spud camish. The decent cameras that they can now, you know, the P1000s, and they haven't got a P1000 on a ship to record a UFO amongst the crew members. They must get paid lots of money, surely. They probably can get it cheap too, you know, once they visit all the Asian ports. Pretty crap footage, I thought, again, and it doesn't really give us much. So let's see. Is it higher up when it starts, or is it lower down? Okay, so where's the sea level here? At the stage I can't see the sea level. Apparently it was meant to be following them for an hour. And it was meant to be 6 meter high waves or something, or 6 feet high waves. That's what I've heard on Twitter anyway. It's another Corbell video. So there is some movement there. So even though it's stabilized, it's still moving.
Break Omaha, pick me kid, Rockdale Pearl to pass ability to launch Hilo ASAP.
Splashing your bearing ring.
Sure.
So what happened there? Did it just change modes in the camera? Is it thermal camera, or is it meant to be one of these decent cameras after all, and it's just crap footage?
ASAP.
Splashing your bearing ring.
Sure.
See, suddenly almost looks like it's on a different camera there. Looks like the edge of the sea here.
Rockdale Pearl to pass ability to launch Hilo
Sea
ASAP.
edge
Splashing your bearing ring.
Sure.
there. And then what happens? They zoom back out. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
You got 2 wins, 30 knots.
Keep going, bro.
5 that 35
To me, it looks like it's gradually, slowly getting closer to the sea level. And that, what is it, 25 seconds, so it's coming down slowly.
It's windy as fuck up there.
Which is very strange for a UFO to do, because we know that they can go from 25,000 feet to zero in less than a second. And stop dead still above the surface, regardless of the wind speed and all that. Oh, this thing's wobbling around.
Yeah, we got a lot of white water up there.
My first impression is it's a balloon. It's got a teffer on it with possibly a weight, not a big enough weight to keep it to the ground, but if the weight gets into the water, it would drag it along with the currents of the sea, regardless of wind direction, right? It'd be sort of like anchored towards the wind, and it would wobble around like that. But you ain't going to see any cable on these videos. Even HD, it can be very hard to see cables, which was seen on previous videos.
Whoa, it's getting close.
To me, it looks like it's tethered and it's sort of blowing around here. Look. What's that there that's just popped up? What is that there? Could that be a line coming down into the water?
Yeah, we have a.
Or was that part of the compass? Looks like it might be part of the compass.
31 knots.
Yeah, it looks like it might be part of their system.
Sustained wind, top side, gust of 40.
What was splashed?
So what happened there? They're saying it splashed, but I don't see a splash.
Top side.
So let's do a frame by frame. Yeah, looks like it's moving. Very slightly, and then where did the lock go? Okay, so what happened there? The lock was way off. It's half the balloon. Takes a lot of frames. Gradually getting it in the sights now. Takes a few frames for their software to calibrate, I guess. So it must have moved off for them to lose lock on it. Stay still, you. Silly mouse. Okay, it looks like it sort of went away. It didn't instantly disappear, right? So it would go down. It looked like it went off, getting smaller and smaller. So I'm not too sure why they're saying it splashed there. Let's keep on going. And it's come back again. That's very interesting, huh? Could a balloon do that? Of course a balloon could do that. We're not seeing the waves here. Could it have landed into the water at that stage? Yeah, it looks like it's got lower and lower slowly, hasn't it? So if a wave swell come up, then that could have disappeared behind the wave. And then the waves come back down, and then it's reappeared. Let's just keep on going. Let's see what happens now. And then what happened there? Still there. It seems suddenly got smaller. And now it's disappeared. Is that because the wave's gone back up again? Or has it simply popped at that stage? And suddenly you got a temperature difference from the air to the water if it's on the water. I think I can still see something there. If I got rid of that stupid cursor in the way, we might be able to see what was going on a bit better. Okay, it looks like the sea's coming up there, swelling upwards, right? Looks like the top of the wave here. And the wave... is it going to go down? I think there's some wave motion there.
Go home, Brown.
We're making 10, so we can probably bring that 35 relative.
Windy as fuck outside.
Sir.
Yeah, I'll bring it down.
We got a lot of white water up there, so 6-foot swells.
Alright, it's coming down like a
Whoa,
balloon.
it's getting close.
Now you might ask, why is it wobbling? Well, if it's on a line that's sort of now entered the water with a small little weight, you know, and we talk about these wedding balloons, it's going to wobble around with the wind, and it's going to move then, or keep stable with the sea current against the wind if it's in opposite direction, right? Normally the stronger force wins. So you got the wedding balloons, the 40-inch ones, which is like the size of a weather balloon when it's released. Wedding balloon, 40-inch. I'll just try that. 40-inch balloons. Huge numbers. We want some. The white ones. Not the big numbers. So it just shows they can be 40 inches. Wedding balloon, 40 inches. White. Okay. 12 pack. This one's here, right? Gives you an idea there of the girls, teenagers, I guess. 14-year-olds, something like that. And you can see how much bigger they are. So they're like weather balloons before, but they'll be maximum size there, or give or take an inch or so, probably. Latex. You can see they'll have these little thin strings, which you'll never see in that video. But they have weights on them. So, wedding balloon weights. And they have these little weights on the end like this. Now they can put 2 or 3 on the end, just depending on how big the balloon is, right? And they hold the balloons down to the table normally, or a walkway for a wedding, like outside wedding, you know, on a green lawn. And someone just breaks off a weight and it's not enough to hold it down, and off it goes, and it ends up being a UFO. So it'd be something like that, dragging in the sea, right? Some lead weights. So let's go back to it again. So it's definitely got some movement there.
31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of
Once you get rid of the camera movement, there's still some movement.
Whoa, splashed. Splashed.
Is that a splash though? I think if you look at the water level here, looks like it may have gone into the water. So it might be why they're correct in saying it's a splashdown. So there's the wave crest here.
Mark bearing.
And it looks like that's suddenly gone up here and it's hidden the balloon behind the wave.
Range.
And it's still going up the water. But we didn't see it, you didn't see it on the frame by frame where it popped up again. Then disappeared. So yeah, it's not, if that's the best evidence we've got a UFO, it's still pretty crappy, right? Still looks like a balloon. If that then suddenly shot off like that, then we could rule out balloon, right? But then we'd be left with, could it be a drone? Now, would you get a drone that shape? I don't know. Does kind of look like it's circular to me. Give or take poor video quality. Yeah, it looks pretty circular there, doesn't it? Would you do a drone circular? Well, it's possible. Circular drones. Electrical, as we're talking about the sun electric field there, it makes sense that anti-gravity would use a sphere or a dome shape. I've covered this in theory before. Sphere drones, let's see what comes up. Sphere shaped drone. And would you believe that someone actually has done something in the shape of a sphere? Why? I don't know. To sit people inside? Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And if it comes down crashing, you're sort of protected by the fibre framework. Spherical flying machine, spherical or theoretical. Yeah, so let's have a look at that one. Does it actually work is the question. Double bladed. So you don't need a tail fin. Makes sense, doesn't it? I wonder what the downdraft is though. So you never know what you're going to find on this site when you do a search. See, I didn't know these existed until now. With no control services. How about that? Okay. Well, it looks like someone's developing something here. But they look like models. Fabrication. Is there any theory or not? I don't know. It's not too clear. Does it like little scaled down models? What else we got? Anyway, miniature drones. Have we got any of those? I suppose if they can do something like that. Could you make the whole thing into like a propeller? Looks like they're trying to do it here. There we go. At least if it crashed into anything, it would bounce, wouldn't it? And if it was like suppose you could have a hole top and bottom for airflow. If it crashed into the sea, it would sort of float, wouldn't it, as well? Could it be like used for surveillance? You know, like something that's launched from a sub and towed along by a sub, and they use the thing to lift it up with a camera so you can see. So it could be like a DARPA project, even again, you know, in that Navy footage. Some sort of thing used by a submarine. Or it could be part of a swarm of UFOs for keeping an eye on a fleet. What's this one here again? Just look, there's a built one here, but it's got no cover on it. What's that one there? Strange looking thing. That's a bit confusing. I think that's the blades on each corner. Okay, you got the kid toy ones. And what's this one? Robots. Yeah, but I want to know if there's a floating sphere with a cover. Could be something like that, I suppose, where it's not completely covered, but it still looks fairly solid from a distance. What's that one? LEG drone. Never heard of it. Sphere shape. No propellers. Operates in air. Operates in any weather. GoPro camera. Mobile something rather. Controlled. Turbocharged. 100%. 35 meters. Wherever that is. Okay, let's have a look at that one. It's not the best quality images. Shipcat on Twitter. Is it a joke? Operates underwater. How about that? That's 2015. Could it be something like that? Experimental drone on a fleet and seeing if they'll notice it. Somehow that almost looks like a joke though. How would that fly up without propellers? That's got to be a joke, surely. What is it? $2 note, is it? Or that $1 note? I don't know. What is the site? Wait, let me get to it. Stupid Facebook. Piece of crap. Wants me to keep one on login. I'm not sure if it's a joke site, guys. Might be. Or it might not be. So, LGE drone. Let's type that in. Was it LGE drone? Don't believe it. Anti-gravity drone. That's got to be a joke. One prototype. Facebook. Anti-gravity gyro powered. Ah, that possibly would be true. If you spin a flywheel fast enough, it will tend to want to create a force going upwards. Surely not. Rotary craft, Google patents. What's this thing here? Is that it? Got a camera. There it is there. Different colours. Have we got a video of this? This has got to be CGI, surely. Tests of flying drone. Damn, we got a thing. Just as we're getting there, he's got a Facebook account. Damn it. Okay. That's the same picture anyway. Wow, it kind of looks legit, doesn't it? No picture. Not looking good. Is it a con? Walco. Jack Walco Cole. Believe it or not. Well, I don't tend to believe it. Closed. $3. New Zealand. Fixable. Goal. It's a bit of a shame. But maybe there is something there. Using gyros. I don't think it could lift up like that though. You could move around it and around the floor. If you've looked at James Burton lately, he's actually mucking around with that at the moment. He's a robot guy. He's doing these James Burton gyroscopes. This guy, I'll post a link to him. He's pretty good. It's more for tentacle minds. If you want to build robots and plastic things and stuff like that, because he was a toy maker. Gyro, Robot Man. Anyway, it's been a bit too long on this side of stuff, but yeah, he's been mucking around with worlds and all that. Quite interesting stuff. So he's got one here. Experiments with it, wobbles around, and it uses it to counteract the wobble on a ship. Then he's got one on a skateboard that stays upright. So yeah, go and check him out. But I don't think he'd have one that flies around. But he certainly has, like the Star Wars robot that goes around on a sphere, using a gyro as well. Gyro. That makes it move along the floor quite fast as well. I can't remember what type of robot it's called. A D2 was it, or something like that? R2, D2. No, what's the other one? Star Wars. Let's see. This one here. What's that one called? BB-8. He's got various sizes there now. Anyway, go and check them out. But yeah, is there anyone that flies around? Well, here's one here. It's got the blades on the outside and it's still a sphere. So there you go. You can actually get sphere-shaped drones with normal lifters on the outside. Jupiter. So they call it the Jupiter series, and it sort of folds down to a sphere by looks of it. Well, one of them does anyway. Military drone. What's that one? What's that one there? So this is a military drone that folds down to a sphere. I could spend ages looking at this sort of stuff, but it's interesting. Let's have a quick look at that page there. No one's joining us today on this interesting subject. Technically, I can't see why you couldn't build a drone that's a combination of like a hot air balloon. Well, an airship with helium. So if you put helium inside, right, it's going to make it lighter. And you can put some small fan engines on the sides like these ones have to push it directions, right? So I could see how that could work. Maybe that's what that's claiming to be, I don't know. What was that one there? Models. 3D models, but doesn't mean it's actually a drone. Alright, it's a drone with a little ball underneath. Chinese. Different colour spheres. Why you want that, I don't know. Colourful flying ball. So there are stuff out there, right? Plus there's one in a cage here that's a ball with the blades inside. Fly Nova Pro. So yeah, there are drones there inside cages, so it can bounce around, be safe for kids, I guess. And it's these ones here that collapse down. Has the blades on the outside and it folds down around the surface of the board. Which technically it could go into water then, couldn't it? What else? Soccer ball shaped drone. Well, there's certainly people mucking around with it. So DARPA is bound to be mucking around with it. Doesn't mean it's alien craft? No. So let's leave it at that and move on. I'll post a link to Scott's video there. New Navy footage stabilized, which is important. On to the Mexican stuff now. Okay. So this video that came out this year got my attention because I thought, look who's doing it. Jaime Maussan and Steve Bassett, which sounds like an unlikely combination if Steve Bassett wants to be taken seriously. That's the least person he should be teaming up with to try and make money from UFO field. So we'll just go over this. We're going to review this and some of the footage in it under fair use. And it's got such a high rating here. I don't know how it possibly got that rating, but we'll go over it. I thought it was just the usual crap you can find online, where it has no science or proper experts analysing it, and Jaime Maussan's experts are very dubious at best. I don't know where he finds his experts, but I don't think they got basic degrees, if that's the case, or the fake degrees anyway. So I've got a folder set up here of the modified thing you can buy, and we'll just step through it and analyze it, little bits here and there. And it's got defaced a bit, and I'll just bring it over and just reduce it a bit. Go on, drag it across. Okay, been defaced, just to make sure clear it's fair use. We'll see how it goes. I don't really care what's going to happen on YouTube with their stupid system. But anyway, I can see what I do here is fair use. Considering all the other people out there, that's it, Mack. Just get it the right size. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, so just to step through some of this. The sound's been altered a wee bit. So we'll just go over the intro here.
Explosive, devastating, terrifying, awe-inspiring. Yes, we're talking about volcanoes. But maybe humankind is not the only species mesmerized by these powerful forces of nature. Take Popocatépetl, an active stratovolcano that lies in the eastern half of the Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt, 43 miles southeast of Mexico City. Nicknamed El Popo by locals, Popocatépetl most recently erupted at sunrise on January 9th, 2020. But it's not only El Popo's spectacular eruptions that draw round-the-clock attention. Like many volcanoes, El Popo is a favorite haunt for UFO hunters, with numerous mysterious sightings recorded over the years. Could these sightings be absolute proof of what extraterrestrial enthusiasts have long claimed, that there's an intergalactic base below El Popo? Or are they nothing more than a rare atmospheric phenomenon? And what do extraterrestrials want with our volcanoes anyway? Some UFO hunters believe they are studying the Earth's geothermal activity or collecting samples for analysis. Jaime Maussan and others have pondered whether aliens interact with volcanoes because of the astronomical amount of electromagnetic energy they produce. And what better starting point to understand our planet? Scientists believe that volcanoes form the Earth's first atmosphere and continue to contribute to the carbon cycle as well as sculpt our landscape in real time.
So sped up a bit there for obvious reasons, to avoid the bullshit of fair use. Now, the intro there, they're saying that Jaime Maussan reckons that UFOs are interested in volcanoes because of the electrical fields produced, and I'd say cobblers to that. If a UFO wants to get electrical fields, all they have to do is go to the northern pole and bounce around the upper atmosphere, right? Where you get the electrical storms happening from solar winds, right? Far more energy there produced in a millisecond than all of CERN, right? The CERN experiment in Switzerland, right? Because they talked about how much energy it would take to form a miniature black hole, and the Earth's atmosphere produces way more electrovolts than anything that CERN is doing. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to be in the Earth's atmosphere rather than in a base. I don't think we can even convert the voltages that we get on the Earth's outer skim of the shell of the planet, let alone, because that's what they're trying to experiment with, the TEFA experiment. You might remember that, where the cable snapped because it's such a strong force that even man-made materials is not strong enough to have it drag in the Earth's atmosphere, getting free electricity into the obviously attached spaceship or whatever. So you could have like a what they're trying to do is like have a self-powered space station, of course, or satellites. But yeah, at this stage, I don't think it will ever be possible whether you have something that's strong enough to take that force. You never know. Space elevators, I don't think so. But you never know. I won't say never. So that's the intro on this one. I'm trying to drum up that it's UFOs after the special electrical field from volcanoes for charging. And there's not been any proof of that, of course, if that's the case. And for some reason they put this guy on, which is like a mumbling idiot, as far as I'm concerned. Steve Bassett has just lost it. We'll just play a clip of it, I suppose.
About these craft.
I think it's going to go out of sync now.
On April 27, 2020, there was an official release to news media agencies from the United States Pentagon. The United States National Defense Department officially released proof of multiple declassified UFO videos captured from their state-of-the-art military aircraft. These UFO videos may prove that we are...
So they're adding the Navy thing on front, which has nothing to do with the volcano ones, apart from to say that they're saying that they admit there's unknowns in the atmosphere. Still not saying they're alien craft, but there could be some other country. And then they bring up Steve Bassett. Here we go.
Which is form greed. And that addiction is threatening the entire civilization. Didn't used to, but it is. It's like a drunk, in the early days. It's not too bad. Marriage is all right. Job's working okay. Then that starts to get a little rough. Pretty soon the job's gone. The wife leaves. Okay, you got no money. And you need intervention. Well, we didn't need intervention when we made the longbow. We didn't need it when we came up with gunpowder. We didn't need it when we came up with airplanes. But when we cracked the atom, we were definitely in the high throes of violent war addiction. And then when we built something like 70 to 80,000 nuclear weapons and had them actually either in launch mode or stockpiled as of about 1985, I guess you could say we were like the drunk, stretched out on the couch in the living room with like 500 bottles of wine, empty bottles of wine around them. And that wasn't all. I mean, as I talk about in my lectures, we were now involved in a phenomenon which I don't think is uncommon in the galaxy. I think it's happened very often, and that is that we have a linear growth of our what I'll call our actual physical brain, our basic mental capacity to hold and hold and utilize information, and I guess you could also say our wisdom.
No, so basically all he's saying there is UFOs are hanging over nuclear bases, and he tried to get disclosure from the government about it. And that's about the only thing he's really done, isn't it? And it sort of went nowhere. And he failed by teaming up with Dr. Greer, of course. And then you had a few frauds that were fake deathbed confessions of alien dolls. What's his name? Boyd Bushman. And he hasn't really done anything since then, apart from politics and UFO stuff, right? Sort of went nowhere. And then we got TTSA that's popped along now. That sort of stepped in his place and tried to get disclosure. And of course now they've been kicked out by the other two, Chris Millen and Lou, and now they're trying to take it to Congress, but they seem to be the ones that were the main pushers. So again, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. If this latest release of the Sphere over the ocean thing is best we're going to get, we've still got a long way to go. So we'll just carry on. So where are we going to get to so already we're into this documentary by 4 minutes. And we ain't talked about the volcanoes yet.
Humans. How did you get into the field of UFOs and politics? The short answer is I entered the extraterrestrial phenomena issue in '96. And it was a decision I made in late '95, and it was just a case of I'm just not interested in doing what I'm doing. It's not particularly useful to me or anybody else. So what would really interest me, and this had always been there for me. I like to say it was like I was driving randomly through my life on a motorcycle, and I had a sidecar attached, and the ET issue was in that sidecar all along, and I didn't pay attention. And so I did. So I read a couple key books, particularly John Mack's book Abduction, and went to a conference or two, and I was very impressed with where things were. And going, this is really happening, sure thing. I knew what the implications would be if it were to finally break out as a formal thing, and I said, I'll do this. It was that simple. I was lucky in the choice I made in terms of where to start. Because I read Mack's book, I knew about his organization, Cambridge Program for Extraordinary Experience Research, so I contacted them and I talked with the director, Karen Wesolowski. And she was gracious enough to allow me to come and volunteer.
John E. Mack was a Pulitzer Prize-winning author and Harvard psychiatrist who engaged in a decade-plus study of alien abduction starting in the early 1990s. John Mack studied around 200 men and women who claimed to have been abducted, and he remains one of the most esteemed academic figures to have studied the phenomenon. John Mack never definitively said that he thought aliens are definitely taking people, but he did say, quote, that there's a compelling, powerful phenomenon here that I can't account for in any other way that is mysterious, and it seems to me that it invites a deeper, further inquiry, end quote. Mack had a particular...
So now they're throwing in John Mack on alien abductions. So straight away they're trying to prove UFOs and aliens are real by these guys. Nuclear bases, abductions. What's it trying to say there? From the wiki page, right? It's the sort of thing I do. I should be putting my shows up on Amazon as well.
He started questioning the ethics of such an investigation, and it was eventually dropped. And the dean reaffirmed that Mack had the freedom to study whatever he wishes and to state his opinions without impediment. But over 20 years later, that attitude has not changed among scientific academia, and the topic is still very much considered taboo and unworthy of any real study. Most
keep on going. So we're still back at Bassett. Who's this guy? Randall in younger days. Skinnier days.
He has been quoted saying that 98% of people who report seeing UFOs are intelligent, honest people who have seen something.
So I then got involved in politics right after that and stayed away from the contact aspect for years. I just didn't say anything about it. And the reason was just trying to get the press, particularly political media, which is where I really focused, let alone anybody in Congress. Bose was the chief of staff.
Has not changed among scientific academia, and the topic is still very much considered taboo and unworthy of any real study. Although Philip Klass regularly dismissed claims of ET visitation, he has been quoted saying that 98% of people who report seeing UFOs are intelligent, honest people who have seen something.
So I then got involved in politics right after that and stayed away from the contact aspect for years. I just didn't say anything about it. And the reason was just trying to get the press, particularly political media, which is where I really focused, let alone anybody in Congress, to address just the fact that ETs are here, which is a big deal, right? And cover the truth and was cover up then. I worked, I think, probably responsible for the switch to truth embargo, which you now hear.
So we got some TV interviews. Now we're up to what are we up to now? 7 minutes in. And now we're talking about 1952 wave.
The media in Washington, I started getting interviews, and that launched my political engagement. I created Paradigm Research Group as the name for the lobbying.
Still talking about him and why he set up his group. Hey, I might get into the volcanoes. 8 minutes in.
Is at a high temperature, something that is practically impossible for any man-made vehicle. When this happened.
So this might be the first one.
Many different aspects of the phenomenon that have been recorded across Latin America. Volcanoes are one of the most destructive forces of nature known to man. Because of the ever-present dangers of volcanoes across Latin America, many news agencies, including Jaime Maussan's and government organizations, have been monitoring volcanic activity for over 100 years. Cameras of various kinds and other scientific...
What? Jaime Maussan is 100 years old. I knew something was fishy. He looks 100. He can hardly keep his eyes open.
Instruments have captured UFO activity around many active volcano sites across Latin America. In 1988...
Yeah, so 1988 is the first footage, is it? Okay, let's
An incredible event was caught.
Oh, look at that turkey. What's that turkey doing on there? Did they get paid for that? Or are they just using a clip under fair use? Which is currently what I'm doing. Go on, Ed. Jump into that flame. Brent, show us your superpowers.
On a news crew's cameras in broad daylight. One of the clearest and most impactful recordings was captured at Colima's fiery volcano during an eruption, when this fire giant erupted, pyroclastic flows. In this video, one can clearly see an object entering this...
Alright, so what have we got here? First one. 1988, is it? So what object are we looking at? I can see... that, is it? Let's see, can we step this one? Is it E key on this? Next frame. I don't know if it still works. Oh yeah, it looks like it might be working. Okay. Where's the diamond shaped thing disappeared to? Because this now is different, and this is what we generally get, is these white blobs.
Volcanoes are one of the most destructive scientific instruments. Have captured UFO activity around many active volcano sites across Latin America.
Okay.
In 1988, an
incredible, yeah, that's really incredible.
Event was caught on a news crew's cameras in broad
daylight.
One of the clearest and most impactful recordings.
Yeah.
Was captured at Colima's.
Was it say 2020? 2020, not
fiery volcano during an eruption. So, yeah. When this fire giant erupted, pyroclastic flows. In this video, one can clearly
plasmic
see an object entering.
So I think it might be not there as part of my writing. I don't know if that's the object or not. I guess that's only one, but then it goes into that white thing. Let's have a look. Something entering the frame. Well, that kind of looks like a balloon, doesn't it? So where's it zooming off, or is it hovering in place? Where's all that sort of business? Okay. E key. Is it moving? See, then it cuts to this one. Now these ones clearly overexposed, whatever it is. And you got to remember that these cameras are not running at full speed, as in they're like time lapsed. So any light that's moving circular will create these cigar shapes, depending on how long the shutter speed is. If it's 5 seconds, 20 seconds, to let more light into the system.
Stones and gases at a high temperature, something that is practically impossible for any man-made vehicle.
So now what we got? Was this the 78 footage again? So it's very confusing, isn't it? Kolama Volcano Incident 98. So this looks different again, doesn't it? So the highlighting something down here. Again, that's part of my error on my overlay. Well, looks of it. Got some white that's meant to be transparent. I've got something highlighted here, but we can't see anything. Or at least I thought they had it highlighted. Can't see anything apart from a plume of gas of water or something like that from the volcano. Sulfur. Here it comes. Something there. Okay, so we got the white streak again. And it's heading towards the plume of smoke. In fact, it looks like it's passing in front of it, if anything. We don't know how far away this object is from all this here. To me, that could be miles away. And that could be like a small plane, like a Cessna, a white one, where someone's a private owner. It's just flown in front of that thing for a closer look. At his own risk, of course. There it is, still coming this way. The reason it looked like it went into the smoke is because it blended in. Now look, it just blended in. Here it comes going. Just blends in. I've got it circled here now, repeating it again.
Otros igual de emocionantes y de interesantes. Hay una cosa muy curiosa. El volcán.
And that's how they're filming it. All that guy did. And there's no way you're going to know from that camera, because it's not 3D, how far away the object was from that smoke plume. Object went through the dust storm. That's only his say, though. And then he's saying very close here. So that's contradiction in the words there straight away.
En tiempos que el volcán está muy pasivo, no tenemos reportes. Es lo interesante. Por coincidencia, la vez que ha estado activo el volcán, hemos tenido avistamientos.
July 7th, 1991. On this date, a UFO was witnessed by local police, and this
so now they've gone past that case now. But we'll just go back and re-listen.
Cameras of various kinds and other scientific instruments.
Making it really exciting.
Is at a high temperature. Something that is practically impossible for any man-made vehicle. When this happened, a videographer, Francisco Guzman, recorded the object entering the cloud.
Did not enter. That's just BS.
Muy cerca, vemos cómo atraviesa el volcán por la parte delantera del volcán y cómo se nos pierde en el horizonte, ¿sí? Para mí es uno de los avistamientos para mí más importantes, porque hemos tenido yo y mis compañeros de trabajo, pues experiencias también de otros igual de emocionantes y de interesantes. Hay una cosa muy curiosa. El volcán ha estado a últimas.
Yeah, but it comes out the other side.
Activo. En tiempos que el volcán está muy pasivo, no tenemos reportes. Es lo interesante.
They don't show you the full footage. It comes out the other side here.
Por coincidencia, la vez que ha estado activo el volcán, hemos tenido avistamientos.
Okay, is it going to come
July
out
7th, 1991. On this date, a UFO was witnessed by local police, and this became...
Maybe they repeat it. But it does come out the other side, which means it's passing in front.
Became a major event in Mexico's UFO history. During the night, police officers decided to make their rounds near the city of Atlixco in the state of Puebla. which is close to the volcano Popocatépetl. Everything was going by standard routine, till they saw a strange object in the sky. The officers were curious, and they were certain that this was a drug trafficker's airplane. The photographer that was with them took out his...
Exactly, it says private owned on slow shutter. In fact, he's got his own personal camera there, so whether he's filming it the full speed, we don't know what kind of lenses he was using, but it still looks like a blurry videotaped Cessna far away next to the cloud.
camera, and he was able to...
But these people, you know, these cameramen, they sell it to these news companies down, you know, that Jaime Maussan uses, and they get paid for it, right? And he makes money from it.
Capture a picture of the craft. When they developed the film, they...
Police reported Ecto UFO event near Popocatépetl, or whatever it's called.
couldn't believe what they saw. The object was completely unrecognizable. It wasn't a plane or a helicopter. The object resembled a metallic craft with 5 orange lights surrounding its circular shape. 2 years after the sighting, the volcanic activity would begin.
Okay, so this is the craft, is it?
At Popocatépetl, there are no nearby airports or places...
Okay, that could be anything. What year was that? Did they say 71 or what? Let's just go back. Is that the same craft? It's a different colour there.
December 20th to 21st of 1994.
94.
At this time in Mexico's history, citizens and the media were becoming more widely aware of the UFO presence across the country. It was also becoming very obvious that there was a relationship between the presence of so-called UFOs and the volcanic activity happening throughout Mexico. In 1996, Norway's Bergen University confirmed...
Okay, so what they're not telling you is that these volcanoes are surrounded by airports. Lots of them. We've looked at that before. That should be at the front too. Mexico. I'll do it through the map. We've done it before. Mexico airports or airport bases. But we'll go for airports. And there's a lot of private runways as well. Let's see what comes up. And there's all the airports around Mexico, right? Was that on the border there, was it? Los Angeles. Okay. Lots of airports. And where's all the volcanoes? Going to be all in between the airports, right? Satellite view. Looks like it's going to be one there. Bit hard to tell though. I wonder if we can put the volcano labels on airports. Volcanoes. Okay. What did that give us? So let's put bed and breakfast icons up, is it? That's not a volcano. Here we go, I've got names now. Alright, so let's put the little volcano symbol on. So what's smacking between two volcanoes? Mexico City International Airport. Okay. And I'm not sure if it's showing us all the private ones. There's a dinner thing. What's that got to do with volcano though? What's that one there? A volcano right next to the airport here. International. There you go, look. Airports. And I bet there's more around these ones here too, which we're not seeing. Probably could do Air Force bases maybe. But you can see the airports all around the volcanoes here. And there's going to be little private ones. This one's only got airstrips maybe. Airstrips. Wonder if it'll do that. Sort of added some more on there. So let's have a look. Volcano, that one's quite close. What's that one there? Another airport, right next door to a volcano. Yep, that's the one. And another airport there. So not only was there one between those two volcanoes, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 airstrips all around this famous one where the UFOs seem to go inside. And where do they have the cameras? They have the cameras parked this side of the mountain, and the airports are flying overhead going this way. And cause the optical illusion is which I will draw. That's the easiest. So we've got a mountain. There's a plane. And if I get it right, there's the volcano. And we've got to have a plane, of course. Is that the plane? Or is that the truck? Where's the plane? Where's the plane? Lightning. Plane. There it is. I thought I selected it. Plane. So you got a plane that's flying that way to the airport, as we've just seen. There's one over here and there's one over there. Okay, we should do little planes on the ground. Already landed. It should do a strip. And of course, what's going to happen is, whereabouts, depends which way you got your camera. Of course, right. So if it's this direction here, looks like it's going to go past, fly away. If you got it facing this way, and this is coming down to land, so it's going that way, but it's going to then come down to land. Yeah. And you got the camera that side over here. So we've got a picture of a camera. Camera would be handy. A bullseye will do, I suppose. So we've got a camera over here. And what's it going to look like? It's going to look like this plane's gradually coming down on an angle. So that plane's going to come down behind the airport, and it looks like it's entering the smokestack. Right. Oh. And we've got smoke. Where's smoke? Of course, the what does it? Envelope. Okay, what was the other images that we got? That one there is probably closer to smoke. So you got the smoke coming out of this thing. Looks like it's going to be entering it, right? And if you have a look at plane contrails or jet contrails, they always look like they're coming down vertically when they're not. They're actually passing in the sky horizontally, just like I've just shown. And they can come down all strange angles. That one's coming straight down. Well, this one's going straight above the person, but it looks like it's coming straight down into something, right? Looks like it's coming straight down. Here's the side view of them coming down. But are they? No, they could be just going across the sky horizontally. But they could be coming down to land too. Just optical illusion. Distant contrails or planes will look like they're coming down. And of course they look like Tic Tacs far enough away, don't they? They look like little white blobs moving in the sky. And if you got a time-lapse picture of a plane, this one it's coming down, is it going up? So if it's coming up from the airport, it looks like it's leaving the volcano. If it happens to be right behind, which these airports are. Of course, they don't tell you that in the documentary ever. Yeah, it looks like they're going straight upwards, but they're actually just flying right over top. Yeah, it's just optical illusion again. So, would you say they were coming down? No. I'd say that all, because of the curvature of the planet, these are all in a straight line. Just look like they're going all over the place. Like this one here. The plane's actually coming towards them. Going this way. It's below them, but it looks like it's going downwards. When it's actually not. It's actually just flying in a straight path, heading towards them. Right, there's one that's going into a volcano. Bingo. All the plane contrails, right? Going off towards the airports. That's a fairly good one there, but if you turned it into a volcano here and volcano there, you could say that there were UFOs entering the volcano, right? That's a really good example. I must have clicked on something, damn it. Yeah, so what's that one there? So we could say jet contrails over mountain. Let's see if we can get some more examples. Look at that one. Crashed straight into the whereabouts that is. Kiwi aboard, captures cool. All these contrails passing over some sort of mountain ridge there. Looks like they're crashing into it. There's that one again. Are they going UFOs? No, they're planes. Are they going into volcanoes? No. And see, it looks like it's going straight down, and it's not. It's just passing over top. Optical illusion. Look at this one. Boom. Did it crash into that mountaintop? No. Whoa, look at that one, you know. Good pictures. And this is another thing with planes that creates these artificial clouds that reflect the sunlight back out. So if you stop all the plane flights, Earth will get hotter. Because 15,000 planes flying around creating all these artificial clouds is actually keeping the planet cooler. So yeah, I think it's all BS, you know. You can go from a clear sky in the morning, by the afternoon, especially in UK, it's overcast because of the artificial contrails that the planes cause, because they condense the ice crystals in the cold layer from the engines, right? Which normally Mother Nature takes a wee while to do, to form ice clouds. But yeah, there's a lot of planes crashing into or going into mountain tops there, isn't there? Oh, they just got underground bases everywhere, so you can't win, can you? No matter what I'm trying to explain here, I still won't be able to win. But yeah, you know, wherever we can see that 3D would be interesting. 3D view. Would be good, you know, but I think you get the point. So let's carry on with this documentary breakdown.
That inside the volcano Popocatépetl, actual electromagnetic storms occurred. At the time, certain phenomena was being registered that, unfortunately, were not presented by Bergen University in a program it recorded for Discovery Channel. This phenomenon, Jaime Maussan states, would prove that
so here's a plane coming in to land at the airport that's in the distance.
UFOs seemed to siphon electromagnetic energy away from the volcanoes, which seems to reduce activity. But Jaime's team claimed that Bergen University refused to ever publish their studies with the Discovery Channel, believing the reason was that they were afraid to do so. At dawn of December 20th, 1994, Alfonso Reyes, a Mexican photojournalist who worked with a number of newspapers, went to the volcanic area with his camera. He took a sequence of photographs, each with an exposure time of 20 seconds. In one of these photos, which you see right now, you can see how an object approached the crater before turning upwards. It is without a doubt an extraordinary image. An unknown object that approaches the crater at the moment the volcano is erupting. It is truly extraordinary to capture this moment. NotiMex consulted with experts before releasing the photograph to its subscribers. The image seemed to be real. It was published by Tercer Milenio. And now, Alfonso Reyes tells his story behind capturing this unique image for the newspaper called NotiMex.
Alright, so this has been debunked, and this guy's a fraud, obviously, and he knows what he did. Just before the explosion happened, the moon was smack in the middle of the volcano there, as it was coming up over the horizon. And camera's on 20-second exposure, so as this exploded, he moved the camera, and what you see here is the streak of the moon. So for it to go up that way, let's see. He would have had to twist the camera upwards and then downwards, right? So, because you've got to remember the image is inverted. Now, this has been debunked by this one here. Photo experts, not just one guy, but this is the main one here, debunking that one image, which they won't tell you on the documentary. So what was it called now? Famous streak UFO, you know, famous streak UFO picture. Debunked. It's not a UFO, but if you go down and read the article, these guys do some really good analysis, but like Mick West does on his group. He's looked at other videos here, which turned out to be, this thing turned to be a movie prop. And this is actually from a movie, and someone was promoting it as a UFO landing. But we won't go into that one. Here's the famous image here. Better quality one. Good picture though. In the last second of the 20-second exposure, right, the camera moved upwards, which is what I said. Yep, upwards, producing the interference circular linear face down through the photograph. As for the mark made by some critics that all other light points in the image should also show the same smearing effect, I requested the evaluation of PhotoCat consultant in the image, Andre Blur. He firstly confirmed Signal's conclusion and pointed to the moon as the unique culprit due to the camera motion. The technical explanation given by Duratti to this common criticism follows. All the lights form traces, but a trace be imperceivable when the light source is not intense enough. So the moon being bright, full moon, and the other fainter lights in the sky, like dim stars, don't, because it's a long exposure, don't leave as much trace on the image as streaks or movement streaks, because they're not bright enough, and of course the darkness of the sky is then overlapped. The image of the volcano is overlapped over top of the lights. So in this image here, right, it's very bright there because that's where the sun, the moon was, and it gets dimmer and dimmer as he moves because this image of the exploding flames or volcano is overlaid over top in the background of the sky there. That's why it sort of gets dimmer here, then it sort of brightens up a wee bit because it goes into the sky, which is not less, because it's got less activity happening here, darkness happening over top of it. And of course, that one there, you're not going to see any smearing off because it's like a illuminated cloud, From the setting sun, is it? Yeah, it must be. And the moon's coming up. And you can see here, those little red specks of light, definitely stretched. It's definitely stretched upwards, look. So there are stretches in the other image light sources there. So what they're saying is correct. And to nail it off, they look on a star map and look at three-dimensionally to see where the moon was rising, and it happens to be coming up this way, and it was smack in the middle of the image at the time that the photograph was taken, there to there, right? So it proves the point, the moon was there just before the explosion, and it was shining through the cloud as well, some of it. Software and camera data, two different sections, track were measured, totally matching the moon's angular size. So the line, so they plotted the moon movement on the software and the size on that distance. As a very close match to the center of the photograph was pointing, picture was made. So yeah, there you go. And here's some similar pictures of moon taken by other people where to move the camera in for comparison. And that one's moved all over the place. Creates these streaks, but like sparklers. Depending on the length of the camera shutter staying open, the exposure time. So that documentary is misleading and factually wrong, and these guys know it.
Un poco antes de llegar al refugio alpino que está justamente al pie del volcán. Llegamos por el lado de Santiago Sales subimos por el paso de Cortés y llegamos a mañana después de colocamos en la cámara las primeras
we're going to make thousands of dollars from this documentary to you suckers out there.
Las trabajamos con 100 milímetros. Cuando ya hicimos las fotografías de la explosión, yo cambié el lente de 400 milímetros con el convertidor y coloqué un lente de 24 milímetros para hacer la fotografía de aspecto. Esto fue cuando decidí hacer la fotografía, cambiar el diafragma, colocar el F4 y tener una exposición de 20 segundos. Esta es cosa específica de la toma panorámica fueron 7 fotogramas. La fotografía donde aparece el efecto en el segundo fotograma. Entonces, cuando salió el negativo, me lo entregaron una tía. Muy bien cuidado, por cierto, déjame decirte, pero al momento de revisarlo, ese negativo tenía esa línea que se notaba claramente en una fila de 6 más 1 que apareció por ahí en la parte de abajo. Se notaba claramente.
That picture would have gone around the world at the time. Probably gave him a nice 100,000 a year, probably.
Como tenía esa línea, entonces revisé el negativo y me fijé que era. Y antes de protestar porque había marcado un negativo, sí, me fijé que era una cosa que no estaba adherido entre una raya y no estaba partido negativo. Mis compañeros estaban puestos ahí revisando todos estábamos ahí, lo vimos. La gente que se revisó la fotografía ahí en la tienda de foto me dijeron, señor, no está rayada, es algo que está apareciendo en el negativo. No vamos a pensar que era una fotografía extraordinaria porque aparece muy nítido. Esta franja que aparece aquí, sí, en la impresión aparece
If it was a scratch.
muy nítido.
No, this is a long exposure of the moon.
Nosotros estamos trabajando ahí con 3 cámaras. En un momento, bueno, yo estaba trabajando con un lente 400, igual exposiciones prolongadas. Había un intercambio de equipo para captar esos momentos, ese amanecer. Y bueno, pues mi compañero fue que captó esa imagen. Y es un trabajo realmente profesional, como debe de ser un fotógrafo, debe de apreciar lo que es la naturaleza, debe de captar la realidad. Y bueno, pues lo que se buscó en esa noche fue captar la realidad de ese fenómeno tan hermoso, toda esa naturaleza que nos ocupaba. Y posteriormente, bueno, realmente fue secundario lo que captamos, ¿no? Creo que algo inédito, algo que no esperábamos. Y bueno, pues en base al trabajo profesional del compañero Alfonso Reyes, yo te puedo asegurar que es un trabajo profesional limpio, que la realidad lo capta y bueno, son hechos que se comparten. Yo conozco a Alfonso desde hace muchísimo tiempo, somos compañeros incluso de universidad, y no pienso que él haya hecho un truco de estos, ¿no? O sea, efectivamente es una fotografía verídica.
So they're talking about long exposure, the captures of the sunrise and all that to try and make some nice pictures, right? And of course, explosions. Talking about old technology cameras back in. Look at these computers back here. Here's a monitor like that anymore. So yeah, 95, 94. What else we got coming up? Next one.
A reporter from 60 Minutes that was a diver too.
Yeah, so we got a bug this time, have we? Can you see anything there? We'll just listen to it and then we'll roll back and just go over it.
Went up to the volcano Popocatépetl, to the crater at almost 5,000 meters in altitude.
Okay, I just saw a white blob then.
To do diving in a little lake that was in the crater in 92. He went there and then he found that it was so hot and there was sulfur. Then I realized that the volcano was becoming active, and I realized there was a relation between the sightings of UFOs and the activity of the volcano. This activity of the volcano grew as well as the sightings of UFOs. Then I predicted back in 90.
So let's go back to this one. I don't know if it repeats or not.
That was a diver too.
Okay, this looks like a white drone to me. Not even remotely close to the volcano at all. Because again, we're talking about a 3D world and a 2D image. So we got no sense of how far away this object is from the camera and how far away this object is from the fumes. But it looks like it's fair distance away. And the way it's moving looks like a camera drone. And what year was this? 2000s, was it? Or what? Have we got a year number?
Went up to the volcano Popocatépetl, to the crater at almost 5,000 meters in altitude.
So that kind of way it went down there, moved like a drone, and I think it's on an angle too. So let's see if I can get it again, step by step. So it's up here at the moment. Okay, looks like it's on an angle to me, coming down. Typical of a drone. It's now behind the R. It may blend it in with the cloud. Yeah, it's meant to be in the middle of that circle. That looks like a camera drone for a news channel. And this guy's filming it, not knowing it's not a news channel camera. Is it still working? Sort of frames there.
True, as well.
No, they stopped it.
As the sightings of UFOs. Then I predicted, back in 1994, because of so many sightings, that I thought that the volcano was going to erupt. People saying, Jaime, you have created a huge problem because now the properties around the volcano have lost their value because of you reporting 60 Minutes. And I said, but it's going to happen. Oh, you are crazy, man. 2 months later, we have a huge erosion in the volcano Popocatépetl. Then I realized...
So as we've worked out, these are just going to be planes. And that's another thing these guys never do, is they look at the plane data. And at the time of these recordings, they would have the exact timestamps to know what planes were flying in to land at the airports behind. So they don't put the information up. These guys are known they're being misleading. Now you got apps like Flight Radar. Anyone can put it on their mobile and just hold it up to the sky. The problem though here is because of the volcanoes and causes interference with the call signs. So planes can vanish on the software and then reappear once they get the signal going. But if they got mountainous area like they have here, often the call signs disappear as it's flying between the volcanoes and stuff. So that is a problem with the software, but doesn't mean you can't work out the timetables of the planes and the speed of them and work out whereabouts they are between airports as they're coming into land, right? You can do it the old-fashioned way, manually. The software you can track the plane to and see where the flight path is and see where it passes right over that volcano. So you can do it that way too. Probably could bring up the software, even show you in real time what's probably happening even now. How much time we got left? How much have we done of the stupid video so far? Not even halfway. Okay, so we could probably put in Flight Tracker or Flight Radar. Chrome Vision not supported now. Unbelievable. But if I update, then other things won't work. Is it not working at all now? They won't let me move around. Forcing us to update. Upgrade. We don't want to upgrade. You assholes. Something else I'm going to have to try and hack, I suppose, to try and make it sure it works. But I haven't got subscription to it anymore. I might just use the old plane finder one, see if that still works. It's a competitor to it. Okay, but the maps are not as good. But their one's still not complaining about browser updates. And I hate companies like that forcing people to update their software, right? And we don't want to. So this has got to add down here, obviously, which you can get rid of. With some extra tools. There we go. Alright, so South America, Africa, Mexico. Look at all the planes in the sky. What's this island over here? Easter Island. It's out this way, actually. What's that island? Hawaii. There you go. Where's Easter Island? It's somewhere out that way. Somewhere out that way. Anyway, volcanoes. So it's down here somewhere, isn't it? The map's not too bad. The labels are easier to read than Flight Radar anyway. Can we tell volcano from that though? See how close the planes are flying. Seem to zoom in pretty quick then. Built up city. So where we see a lot of planes hanging around, we know that's the airport anyway. I don't know if it was down that far. Probably should have left my map open. And they haven't got too much traffic going that way, have they? Very slow responding. Mostly going to America, right? Not many people want to fly to Mexico. I think volcanoes are there though, aren't they? We can start to see dots of planes around. Same, we haven't got the same overlay with Google though. Let's see. I should have kept it open. Of course, it never remembers where you last go. Mexico airstrips. There we go. Was that one? No, last minute changed, didn't it? Went back to the previous one. That's not what I said. I said that one. That's not working now. Mexicon. Mexico. Well, it worked for us before. And now it won't do it. Strange. That's not Mexico, is it? Arizona, that is. Okay, that's probably why it's not working. No. Where's that one? Mexico, USA? No. Where is it? Mexico. Mexico. I like the Mexican on the end. Airstrips. Okay, can I fly into the right place now? Here we go. So I'm just trying to find the city name. Mexico City. I didn't see it on the other map. Mexico City. You're in the way, alien. Get out of the way. Alright. So, where's Mexico City then? It doesn't say Mexico. All these names. So there's the volcano there. What's the place names on the map? Texco. I think I saw that name. Texco is below. Texco, let's see. Can't see Texco. That looks like Mexico there, though. There's Texco. There we go. So the mountain's got to be here. And how many planes we got in the sky at the moment? Hardly any, right? And you can see it's right behind the mountain here. There it is here. Looks like it there, doesn't it? Different colour. There's a small plane flying around there. Right behind, look, there's the peak. There's the plane. There's no one here over that direction. That one there. Only one's this one there, is it? Or is it just my eyes? And that's just something on the screen. And needs a wash. Okay, so I think you can get the message, right? The plane's flying all around this location. Now we'll come back more onto that in a minute. They're not planes. What's he saying here?
That this relation was absolutely real. In August 1996, the Bergen University from Norway came working for Discovery Channel, and they detect huge storms of electromagnetic storms under the volcano. And I mean huge. Then one night they saw a light above the volcano flashing in the top, and suddenly all the energy, and you can see this in the machines, drop almost to nothing. Was somebody taking that energy from there? They couldn't explain it. They said it was the most amazing thing they have ever seen in their lives. They were going to
Alright, so the magnetic field changes, or the static energy in the atmosphere changes. Of course, Mother Earth takes it, you know, it changes it all the time. Discharges it to the ground or whatever. Of course, they're talking about strange lights here. We can assume that some of these won't be planes. The other ones might be ball lightning that occurs. Right. Probably some other strange lightning spikes, as you've seen, can produce very strange looking effects.
Send this in Discovery, and nothing happened. But I realized then, as they told me, that this was the most magnetic place in the world, because the chamber under this volcano is...
Well, obviously it's going to be molten.
It's under Mexico City. From then on, I realized that this was this relation.
Iron, right?
In 1999, the volcano almost erupted, or begin of the eruption, and then you can see Sphere coming down and turning up at this last moment. If you see that, it's very clear that there was activity in the middle of that eruption of the volcano, UFO activity. And then...
So, yeah, there's no mystery there. Is there? Right. Mother Earth. Natural stuff. Explosion. Changes in fields.
2 months later, for the first time, thanks to the camera of the scientists, the Centro Nacional de Prevención de Desastres, CENAPRED, we saw a large object going inside the crater of the volcano for the first time, but not for the last. We have seen many times going in and out UFOs from this crater. At the beginning, I thought was...
Which are planes.
Fantasy. It was crazy because even before, at the beginning of the activation of this volcano, people said, oh, there are UFOs going inside the crater. And I said, that's crazy. It's impossible.
Moon.
How can they go inside an active volcano in the crater? And the crater is almost, there's no hole there. A little hole, but it's almost completely closed. Well, now I can tell you, I have the images where you can see this object going in and out continuously. Then I...
Yeah, the planes on long exposure.
Know that there is a relation when the volcanoes are active. In 2003, with the Arenal volcano in Costa Rica, we got this video, the most amazing video of a UFO around the volcano. And the video is real, where you can see this UFO going around the volcano and doing many things in front of one camera, and the people commenting on that. This video is authentic. Nobody has proven that it's not. And it's the most amazing related to the activity of...
Yeah, it's still the same angle of planes flying over here.
UFO around the volcano.
Plane in the distance.
It is forbidden that
plane coming down to land at international airport behind.
The airplanes get close to the volcano.
Another plane.
Since 1994,
plane.
The airplanes have to go around the volcano, especially when it's active, because of the ash. Then we know that there are no airplanes close to the volcano. But also, if you look to the videos, you will realize that they are not airplanes. It's very clear. The airplanes don't go inside the crater. The airplanes don't go inside the volcano on the sides. Then anybody who investigates...
So you got to remember how these cameras work. They're taking a frame every security cameras. Because if we record endlessly as video, 30 frames a second, it's even a wee bit too slow for bugs that move close to the camera, because some of them will be bugs as well with night vision. But yeah, you gotta remember that when the plane flies in front, there's the plane again. Here somewhere, wasn't it? Rocket. Plane. So you gotta remember the camera is taking a picture every second, and in that time frame that the plane's moved, right? But if you got long exposure on, you're also going to get this smudging together, right? You're going to get that joining together, creates these long tubular things that appear on these security cameras. That wasn't very good, that one. Okay. So it's not, you're not going to see any definition in the craft. So the camera shutter, this whole thing. The camera shutter stays open for that length of time. So as that plane's coming across front of the lens here, it's emitting light through its own lights, as well as the moonlight reflecting off it, or the sunlight reflecting off it, or the evening or sunrise light reflecting off it. So it's getting all that light coming in from the start, from when it's visible to the end. So it creates a long streak on the film. Then it turns off, and then it processes the next chunk, you know, and you get the next image moving along, you know, it looks like a streak again. So it's processing it so many seconds, and leaving the camera lens open to let more light in so you can see more of the image. And that's basically what's happening on these images here.
This is going to realize that there is something else going on around the volcano. I'm not saying extraterrestrial, but else that could do what I've seen these objects to do. Back in December of the year 2000, Alfonso Reyes, from a newspaper, from an agency as a matter of fact, took this photograph where you can see an object getting close to the volcano and turning right at the last moment. The volcano was almost erupting. After that happened, after that picture, the energy reduced like nothing. In Mexico, the government had announced that the volcano was going to erupt. There was evacuation around the area. But after this picture,
it erupts in the energy. So was he talking about static charge in the air? Well, of course it's going to affect the static charge, all that ash and stuff. It's just absolute nonsense talk. I'm not sure if he's believing his own BS or he's just trying to sell and make money, lots of money from these guys.
Nothing happened. And then I thought that probably these UFOs are controlling the volcano, or probably they take the energy from the volcano and then the activity reduces in just a few minutes. It's something that I cannot explain, but the evidence is proof.
No, he can't explain because he's not a scientist. He's a TV journalist.
That is something extraordinary. The Centro Nacional de Prevención de Desastres, CENAPRED, had cameras around the volcano. Back in the February 14th, 2001, these cameras took a long object for the first time going inside the crater of the volcano. And from then on, not just the CENAPRED cameras, but also webcams de Mexico, security cameras, and our cameras because we have cameras.
So, saying the same old nonsense. Have we got anything else? So these are the type of security cameras they've got, but still we've got no specifications on how many frames a second they're doing. We have the night vision. That one looks like it's got infrared diodes around the outside of it, so they're obviously standard security cameras. Nothing really special. So they're going to be long exposure with time lapse.
Para que si ocurriera algo, pues se puede hacer un seguimiento. No necesitas tener un monitoreo 24 horas con el joystick en la mano y de forma automática se pueden generar esas tomas.
So again, we've got the planes flying off from the airport from behind. And flying around.
En sí, una cámara que lo vea todo y que lo vea con alta definición, las existen, pero son con muchísimas limitaciones, no para este caso. Para el caso que se...
So it's flying from another airport there and probably land on a little airstrip behind.
Que se va a trabajar aquí. Vamos a iniciar con un...
But it could also be a helicopter or scientist. Remember, they say it's a restricted airspace. Now, I typed that in to see if that's really true. See, I even looked to see where he's selling this everywhere. And so he's there, buy for $3, right? And there's at least 20 pages. Watch for 0 with Prime. So the Prime means you got a subscription, right? So obviously they take the money from your... He still gets the money, but they take it from your membership. Maybe he doesn't get as much money if it's a Prime membership. But still, sell 100,000 of these. That's $300,000 for a movie that's got no balance and no scientists in it, except for biased ones, which they've picked. Terrible. But if you type in a search, if I go back, I think it might be on here. No. You can see it's being sold all over the place. iTunes. And we know they take 30% of it, Amazon and iTunes, so at least $2. Doesn't sound much, but if you sell enough of them, makes it worthwhile. Here we go. Watch, Prime, Amazon, movie database, iTunes, Apple TV, Another company there. And because if that documentary was free to watch on YouTube and able to be criticized by debunkers like myself without having to cherry pick things from it, then that would be more believable, wouldn't it? But no, they've put this together and they're trying to make some money from it. And they're selling it all over the place. They're not making it free available for criticism. Google Play, Yahoo Play. What else we got? Other places which I've not heard of. Prime Video again. Similar Lock, there might be a review there, and so on. Amazon again, UK this time, Japan, Amazon. Now, why would UFOs slowly move around a volcano and then gradually come down slowly into the volcano or leave a streak when they can travel so fast that a camera would even pick it up, right? We know they can come from 25,000 feet to sea level within a second. You're not going to catch much of that on a camera until it stops. So that gives more credibility that it's not a alien craft, right? It's got to be something natural or man-made that's moving slowly down, and they catch it on film. So here's the thing here. So I typed in, is volcano of Mexican restricted airspace, and this is what I got come up. Plumes of volcanic ash near active volcanoes are a flight safety. No shit. Any airspace where ash density exceeds 4 milligrams per cubic meter is prohibited airspace. So it's not fully prohibited, only if it's above that all the time. Thousands of kilometers from the eruption site, crossing the width, Pacific coast to coast. Can airplanes fly through volcanic ash? Well, we just read no, they can't, depend on density. Can you fly in a restricted area? You can't fly into a restricted area without permission. So you can fly as long as you got permission from the controlling or issuing agency. So you can fly helicopters there with scientists to study the volcano. And you'll hear on that video they're saying you can't fly into restricted space, but they don't say but. Helicopters with scientists can if you've got permission. No, because that then ruins the thing of it being all alien craft. And so you can do your own research on that too if you don't believe it. But yeah, planes can fly past volcanoes quite happily. They do every day. We just saw a live plane tracker map of that happening, which they were like a few hundred miles away or whatever, 50 miles away. And you can just check it up on your phones. You can install the software. Yeah, so these are some of the other articles which I'll come back to. And we'll leave that to the end. Which debunks more of this nonsense here.
Una primera instancia en 36X, en calidad 4K, con presión H265 y con ralentizaje de nocturno para poder ver imágenes con poca luminosidad.
On several occasions, UFOs have been captured entering the crater of Popocatépetl volcano. Cenipred, Televisa, and Amateur Video from Mexico have managed to obtain extraordinary...
They say captured entering, but they still have not added the plane tracking software on to prove it's not a plane, or satellite tracking software to prove it's not some sort of space debris or Elon Musk thing coming down.
Images of these sightings. And now Tercer Milenio has that ability as well.
Music.
The new technologies will give them the opportunity to record eruptive events in high definition, and at the same time, any object that appears in the area will be seen with total clarity.
So they're old cameras compared to what we got now with low lights, 8,000 frames a second. That's the sort of stuff that you need for this sort of thing. So you can see everything in slow detail and the lowest possible light source, right? That's the proper cameras, so they need to be setting up, not those crappy ones.
Through a high-definition volcanic monitoring system.
Yeah, but let's have a look at the...
On October 25th, 2012.
If you have a look at the thing of the high definition, you can still see it's time-lapsed. Now, I've sped it up here so it looks normal, but... there
was a huge UFO going inside the crater.
So again, we've got a plane flying in the distance, and it's just shining through the cloud coming through. Just nonsense.
Video was recorded by the Televisa cameras, and it was presented on the news. And they said this.
Again, same old footage with the plane flying.
This happened. We don't know what it is. And then they tried to get explanations from.
That there, I don't know. Could be a drone, could be a balloon. Kind of looks like a balloon to me. Looks like one of those Mexican, festival balloons that are kind of shaped like a diamond. We've been through that before in past videos. I'm not going to bother looking it up again. They're quite big, 40 inches. So, yeah, it looks like it's left over from a festival. It doesn't look like it's really stormy or windy there.
The scientists, they didn't know what to say. One astronomer said,
so this again looks like it's a small plane, as we've talked about in the past, flying in front of the camera, so on like a 5-second exposure, so it's like a blur. And looks like the sun's setting or something there. Looks like it's not fully dark yet, so of course it's going to be illuminated. They haven't proven that with the software to me. Say this is 100% UFO because it wasn't on their software. Could be a drug runner, of course, which wouldn't be on the maps.
Oh, it's a galaxy falling.
And you can see here it jumped from there to there, which is exactly what I was trying to say in that software when I was drawing it. And you got a 5-second exposure, and then you got it taking the next snap another few seconds later or whatever, so that's moved 1 second later rather than all the individual things in between.
A galaxy?
So it could be a plane, also could be a bug on night vision. If it's dark enough, it could be reflecting some IR light back, but that looks like it's still light enough to be a plane.
Falling inside the crater or what?
See, the sun's going down.
No, it was something so crazy. And on
this is sped up, so you can imagine how slow that's moving. So this is time-lapsed here as well.
May 30th, 2003.
Okay, you can see even that looks time-lapsed, and I've sped it up, right? This is the high-definition camera they keep talking about.
13, we can see again a UFO.
You can see it's not constantly flowing. You can see it was time-lapsed.
Oh, now it seems like a disc.
And this is time
going around the crater and suddenly going inside the crater. How can you explain that? Nobody has tried. The image is real. It was recorded by different cameras.
I will tell you, or explain it to you in a minute. Just get to it.
And it's an irrefutable evidence. These things go inside the volcano. Is there a base in the bottom? Are they doing studies, analysis? What it is? I don't know. As much as I do, I don't know. But the evidence is there. Can anyone explain this?
Yes, we can. Look at that devious eyes there. Can anyone explain that? And what's that look to the left mean? To the right, I mean. Means they're making up a story. It means they're telling lies, right? When people retrieve stuff from the memory, they look up this way or that way, not this way. I know I'm telling you bullshit. No one can explain it. Yes, they can, but we're not going to tell you.
Yeah, since 2016, we have our cameras are high-definition cameras, special cameras for environment, because you have to understand that the climate there is very harsh. Huge storms.
Yeah, so they're all pretty much the same. Want to get to... I want to get to this one where it goes around and disappears. Is this the one? And maybe we can wrap up for the day on this.
But the most extraordinary thing is how it disappears as it approaches the cone of the volcano. The report was made by the volcano watchman, Aldo Arambula. Pay attention to what happens here. The object approaches the volcano. After stopping in the sky, it descends directly to the volcano's base, where it disappears. This is in slow motion. So where did it go? It seems to have simply disappeared. This video confirms the existence of these objects in volcanic zones. Some people believe that they could be used... This is one of the clearest examples of the presence of unidentified flying objects. But the most extraordinary thing is how it disappears as it approaches the cone of the volcano.
I'm not sure if it's out of sync or not at the moment, but let's see if we can find...
The report was made by the volcano watchman, Aldo Arambula. Pay attention to what happens here. The object approaches the volcano. After stopping in the sky, it descends directly to the volcano's base, where it disappears. This is in slow motion. So where did it go? It seems to have simply disappeared. This video confirms the existence of these objects in volcanic zones. Some people believe that they could be using the natural energies of these sites to move around this planet or the universe.
After we set our cameras, we presented the signal live, and it's open to anybody in the world. People who started watching the volcano 24 hours a day reported any time that there was something strange in the volcano. And that way, with my team, my people, I was able to get very factual reports of what happened.
So, I'll just make it zoom in. Let's see, E key is it? Whereabouts is it now? So they haven't highlighted it very well. This is high definition, by the way. 1080p, and you can see it's still shit. So can we see where the UFO, the black UFO was? I might have to pin it down a bit more. They've gone back in a loop now. Okay.
4 hours a day. But when you have the help of hundreds or thousands...
Here it is. Coming down. So what does it look like to you? To me, it looks a bit like that Navy footage that we just looked at. It could be a bird diving. It could be so far away. This is a high definition camera that's set up. Yeah, but they can't optically zoom in on it, can they? Okay, so it's coming straight down. Whether it's a bird diving or a balloon or a helicopter, at this stage we don't know. It's kind of moving. They're moving the camera, are they? Or they're doing it in editing. It is coming down to the mountain. Okay, it needs to color contrast it, but there it is below the M there. Going behind the other letters. It's there still, I think. Behind the M. Unfortunately, it looks like my logo has got in the way on that particular shot, but we'll try the next one. Here it comes again. Yeah, see how it fluttered like it was a balloon that sort of caught the wind then. I reckon this is like a milder balloon. It is coming below the M now. They got it zoomed in a bit more this time. Now it's behind the E. Behind the M now. I've got it lined up perfectly. Now it's above the E. M, I mean. Now it's below, slightly behind the M. That's coming down below the E. Down here. And then it just vanishes. That's what they're saying. Well, what does that? A balloon that pops, right? It's coming down already. And eventually the whole material gives way and pops, and you ain't going to see it on that sort of it might be high definition, but it's still time lapse because you can see the smoke how it was coming out. Alright, it's just absolutely nonsense.
And want to see these images is going to realize how important is this.
Oh, they've got it zoomed in more now.
And there is something very, very interesting. In the last,
so it disappeared at the very end there.
Of these sites to move around this planet or the universe.
After we set our cameras,
identify flying objects. But the most extraordinary thing is how it disappears as it approaches the cone of the volcano. The report was made by the volcano watchman, Aldo Arambula. Pay attention to what happens here. The object approaches the volcano. After stopping in the sky, it descends directly to the volcano's base, where it disappears. This is in slow motion. So where did it go? It seems to have simply disappeared. This video confirms the existence of these objects in volcanic zones. Some people believe that they could be using the natural...
Blah, blah, blah.
Is going to realize how important is this. And there is something very, very interesting. In the last year,
it gets down to the end and it pops.
Sightings reduced completely. And I don't know why. The volcano has been active and non-active continuously. But it seems like at this moment there is no interest of UFOs, or I don't know what is happening, but then scientists...
But that's the best I can do with this, guys. I still might get some complaints about it. Yeah, you know, they don't like you showing most of their documentary. So I probably won't do the rest of it. I'll just skim through it here. It's just more of the same. Lights in the sky. This time it's more nighttime footage, which could be helicopters with scientists, you know, drones. And then it finishes off with Steve Bassett again mumbling on about evil aliens and nuclear based things and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to go and pay your money, $3 to make these guys richer, go ahead. But I just say it's bollocks. And the whole documentary didn't prove a thing. That none of those were... They didn't have any balance. They didn't have any really good close-ups of these things. You know, the best one was at the end there with the black thing coming down, and that's the best they've got. You know, they didn't prove it with the software. So yeah, I'm sort of had enough of this now. But hopefully that was good enough for you. And if you got any comments, just stick it down in the comments of the video if it stays up. Remember, I'll be posting it about other places, not just YouTube. But yeah, if you add up all the things that are repeated over and over again, if you look at all the stuff I did in that video, it still comes under 10%. So, you know, I skimmed a lot of it there, just to focus on the main so-called evidence they had, which is really weak to poor at best, you know, and their theories. No real scientists, just a journalist telling what he thought, and some other cameramen working for newspapers and things, right? So it's just absolutely nonsense. So we've done 2.5 hours, so I'll kill it there. I could do a lot more. I'll just go over the last bits here to wrap up. So I'll give a movie database link to it, and you can read the reviews, right? The reviews are there on the thing, so we'll just go with other people's reviews and comments on it. Movie database on that nonsense. Reviews. You normally can find them on the page here, and you want to read all of them. These are reviews. How do we get more of them up? Let's see. Reviews title. One star? No, that's 6 stars. Lots of questions, no answers. Exactly. Well, I've actually given you lots of answers to the questions there about planes, about the camera artifacts, what I see them as blobs, and also the moon photograph. Important doco that needs to be seen. Cobblers. It doesn't need to be seen at all. It needs to be done better. Enjoyed Stephen Bassett. He was just a mumbling idiot on it, as far as I'm concerned. And Jaime Maussan's commentary. Also see user ratings. And it's all over the place here. 1 to 10. Well, 6 people gave it a 1. That's not really good. And more people downvoted it than upvoted it. So can we actually look at 6 at all? Recently viewed. User reviews. How can we sort it by West? Show all. 1 star. We saw there were 6 of them. Let's have a look. And suddenly we got no reviews. So 6 people downvoted it but couldn't be bothered explaining why. Damn it. Okay, what's the next one? 2 stars? I don't think there was any. 3. Still pretty bad. 4. I think that starts at 5. Give it 50-50. No. Looks like a lot of people rated it but didn't want to comment. 6 stars. Okay, we got 1. 1 at 6. 7. I know there was quite a few on those ones, but no one's commented. So yeah, unless people comment, there's not much you can gauge it on. Expert says he solved the mystery of the Volcano UFO. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. I'm not sure if it was on the documentary. I think it might have been. By that same guy that took the moon shot. So you can see how much is zoomed in here. Does it play? Oh, yep. 2015. So that's smack in the middle of drone season. Buying drones.
Hazle un zoom esa wea. André, no te estoy huellando. Mira un ovni, cacha. Al lado. Está bueno una estrella y no tiene por qué estar ahí. Graba.
Arriba.
No?
You'll see how far he zooms in there. And we can't see any detail, but it does look like a fairly stretched out object there. I'd say that would be again a TV network drone filming something for the TV news, right?
nave está quieto.
You can see it's not zooming off or anything. It's sort of moving on an angle, which you normally get with the drones. It's not moving horizontally. Okay, that's the best footage we're going to get. Alright, so Mack Antonio's looked at this one. That's the expert. He considered that the two sphere objects in question might have been a simple CGI effect added to the video. I don't think so myself, but after looking at other video of the same eruption event, he changed his opinion in at least one video. So obviously other people filmed it. You can see that have been identified as a definite drone. There you go. At least one video. So I wonder what video that was. Told the Huffington Post in an email. It appears to be a Phantom 2 drone. Okay, let's look that up. So this is how you learn things, guys. You don't hear it on the UFO channel. So Third Face probably put that one up too. Phantom 2 drone. And it's a white, fairly long, or a decent camera on it, which your newspapers would use. There it is there. Landing gear. That's the proper one you see on TV shows, right? It flies around for 30 minutes. So that's what we're looking at on that one. Have we got any pictures of the confirmed as a drone? Nope. So that one's solved. I'll post a link to that if you want to have a read of it and look at the other links. Volcano UFO solved. And no one talking to me on the side today. That's a bit disappointing. You Twitch people are non-existent. They're all a bunch of gamers, I think. They're not interested in truth. They're only interested in fantasy. Okay, let's close this. Republican, alien, or airliner? Well, we've been through that already. Seen floating behind eruption volcano in Mexico. What year was that? 94? No, 2020. Here we go. A 2021. Strange UFO-like object has been spotted flying mysteriously in unusual footage at popoc volcano. Blah blah blah. The users online have tuned the mystery white mold mystery as a UFO and argued on Twitter, like they always do, whether the light trail was caused by the aliens flying saucer or was a result of an airliner leaving a contrail. Yeah, so what have we got? Let's have a look at the picture. What's that about international space? Another individual commented it was likely the International Space Station flying past. No joke. Yeah, okay. Hole. Right, so UFO interest has stepped on it. Sorry, I just got interrupted about dinner requests. So here again, he's plotted the actual time of the sighting using software, which none of these guys so far that we've talked about have used. And he's identified it as this plane flying. behind. Going to Mexico City. So there you go, guys. Gotta use the tools. Although it would be good to see it from ground view, which you can't do, of course. How far away would that be from the volcano? 50 miles? Because you can see a plane on with your eyes 100 miles away. I've looked at that before, information. 100 miles, and you can see a plane in daytime. If it's got lights, you can probably see it quite clearly as well. If it's not got bright sun reflecting off it, you got the bright landing lights, of course, heading towards you, or the fog lights on. And if it's got a contrail, of course the contrail can be lit up from city lights, moon lights, and can make it show up for quite a lot longer distance. So you could have a plane 200 miles away, but you can see its contrail because it creates a big contrail behind it, which I believe happened on Skinwalker Ranch photographs. They only looked close range, they didn't look far range. So you got to look in a line of where you're photographing from and see all the different planes flying around, probably at to 200 miles away, to see whether they had contrails and what quality of light they had. So we got that one solved. Here's another one solved. Another one using soft tracker, plane tracker. I call it jet. And I'll close that one down. What's this one? UFO taking over popoc volcano. And I've got a little video clip here. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, explosion. Some big explosion. But you can see it's time lapse, right? Just the way it's moving. And you got a plane that just flew by. Alright, time lapsed. Nope, never talked about drone sightings around volcanoes. I often explain those light trails taken by that camera was a long exposure of an actual airliner landing at Mexico airport. Yep. So there's another example, guys, and you'll find lots of those being debunked. And that documentary doesn't even mention that, which makes it less credible. Even if there was one out of the 100 videos that they put up, well, they didn't even have that many. One of 20, maybe. That's probably too much too. One of 15 images they put up in that whole documentary. That was actually not a plane or a balloon or helicopter or drone or bug. It doesn't matter, because they ain't credible enough. They are not producing quality documentaries. They're just selling you junk, and anyone that doesn't understand science or the basics needs to be slapped. Needs to save their money. Okay, what was that one? Someone thought it was photoshopped as well, the image, and they're showing you how you can create that image with Photoshop. And these are all the images they made with Photoshop. Right. Not all glitter is gold. So some thought it was due to long exposure, which it was. Object that seems to be making a critical turn. It's possibly a meteorite, so they're wrong there. We know it's the moon, 100%. This is also no airplane or helicopter were present in the place for obvious reasons. Because of the explosion. I don't know. Yeah, well, obviously. They probably put a big flight thing on plaster around it, but we know that it was a moon. But I thought it would be interesting just to show the other people's thoughts on the image and people doing Photoshop with it. I was meant to be closing it. What happened there? I duped it. Did I post that one? That's a good article, that one. Moon UFO debunked. There it is there anyway. Hopefully I'll post the comments underneath the pinned comment. If they stick, they may vanish because a lot of links get turned into spam, as you know. And the last one here, someone else reviewed it, but of course they can't show the video or take snapshots from the video. A fear of copyright claims. To try and silence you. You can't have people criticizing these things. But you got to think of it as the other way too. If someone criticizes it, you think, oh, I'm not going to listen to them, I'm going to get it anyway and make my own mind up. They still get advertising out of it and they still get people buying it. But they still try and take you down, you know, because that's how these people think, you know, right? Remember, I am a truther. I've had my own personal experiences. I do believe in aliens and UFOs, but I believe that 99.95% on YouTube is junk, and people are exploiting it to make millions of dollars. And Tyler Klotner from Security has made $2.4 million from ads. You can bet Third Phase of the Moon have as well. And you can bet all these other smaller UFO channels are creaming in the money. Now, apart from me, anyone that tells the truth does not make money. Why do I keep telling the truth? Because I have morals. And of course, this one talks about the thing. Quite a long review, as you can see. Goes on and on and on. But let's read out some of it anyway. As much as I wanted to love it, the new documentary Volcanic UFO Mysteries is too muddled and unpolished to deliver on its promise. And now there's a female writing this, I think. I am a big fan of alien and UFO documentaries, so I was very much looking forward to this film, written and directed by Darcy Veer. Who did Beyond the Spectrum, Sasquatch. Mysteries is a low-budget, low-production documentary you would likely find in Tubi TV or YouTube. That's where it should be. Should be free on YouTube with ads. Allow people to comment on it. And sadly, in this case, that's not possible. Positive, is it? Positive, sorry. It opens up with juvenile animation that looks like it was done by a child, which we quickly skimmed over. This sets the tone for the light-hearted film. Throughout the doc, there are images of Wikipedia pages and Amazon books, which contribute to the low quality. The interview, particularly with political UFO activist Stephen Bassett. Terribly done as they frame his face too closely and off-center. Yeah, it looks stupid, alright. Volcanic UFO Mysteries begins and ends with Bassett providing ramblings of what it seems somewhat insightful thoughts mixed in with the latest conspiracy theories. But it's not all bad. Okay. The core of the documentary would be compelling for those people who are intrigued by UFOs and their possible connection to the Earth's environment. We learn about geothermal activity, electromagnetic activity, and storms and volcanoes. The general theme of the documentary is fascinating. UFOs have been seen before, during, and after volcanic explosions, as if all those were planes. Particularly in Latin America, the focus of film. This is in contrast to how human-made inventions like helicopters, drones, and planes cannot fly close to volcanoes. But you could see there was no distance in those images. None of them gave us any sense of distance, only an optical illusion that they were going inside. She hasn't mentioned it hasn't got any balance with scientists explaining it. Documentary builds its case based on the sightings in 1991 by people living around the volcano. These witnesses started just noticing particular flying objects in the area, cylindrical and fast-moving UFOs going inside the volcano. Mind you, it doesn't say that they saw it only on security camera footage. Hovering around and even potentially disappearing at the base. 1996. Okay, so the Norwegian team did discover, however, a large number of electromagnetic storms, blah blah blah. Investigative journalist Jaime Maussan is the main subject, and a great deal of documentary surrounds his work investigating the UFO sightings at Popoc Tapiti. He suggests that UFOs are somehow taking energy from the volcano, even though they're meant to have element 115, wasn't it? And the radiation decay of that creates gravity waves. So why would it need electricity? Theory becomes scientists have discovered blah blah blah. Do aliens control the volcanoes? We can only speculate. The whole thing is speculations. It wasn't actually proof of anything. Throughout volcanic UFO mysteries, there is an arousing electronica techno score, which could be too much for some people. Well, even sped up it was a wee bit too much, but it definitely got me excited watching UFOs zipping around. Documentary has the same look as a lot of conspiracy theory and UFO documentaries I have watched on Amazon Prime. She's been watching too much Third Phase. Tuber TV, sadly. This one have even low quality than most I've seen. And it's super cheesy in its narration. About 53 minutes in, the 58-minute runtime, we return back to the ramblings of Steve Bassett, which we didn't bother listening to. 5 minutes. He goes on about our technological issues, nuclear weapons, the human obsession with war, So I basically summed it up to in the need of intervention, an interview, and he thinks that aliens could be the ones to provide. He states that humans are out of control. Well, they're not helping in the Gaza Strip, are they, at the moment? And Biden certainly is helping by sending weapons, selling weapons to the Palestinians. Volcanic UFO mysteries tackles many theories at once. And she gave it a what? 2 out of 5. So there you go, guys. In conclusion, I enjoyed all the footage and discussion around, but she never got, never realised it was planes. It could have done without the rest. That's right. It could have been like a 30-minute documentary. Or they could have padded it out to a proper documentary which has some balance and scientific, Mick West on there and stuff like that, you know, because they all seem to like Mick West for some reason on these TV shows. So who's the other people they have on? Phil Class, Kevin Randall. Well, actually, Kevin Randall interview there was nothing to do with volcanic UFOs. So he could have been brought on and given his opinion on all the videos, and he could have gave opinion on all the videos what he thought they were. He probably would have said they were jets, because I think he's a pretty credible guy, as Kevin Randall. He's debunked quite a lot of stuff, but also he still believes, I believe. But it's hard to know. As investigators get more and more in it, they get more disheartened with the crap out there. And less good, credible footage, of course. Anyway, I gotta have dinner now, believe it or not. Then I try and upload it and see what happens. I'll post the last one here, the book of the view. So it's not biased, it's not just my opinion, you got someone else's opinion there, who's a UFO fan, of course. But even she said the Steve Bassett thing was yucky. And I'll say goodnight now. Good night. Oh, he disappeared. Yes, right click and it's amazing what happens. And I'll just run down here and say goodnight and take care on the roads, people. And we'll see you next live stream. And we'll see if they want to give us a strike on this one, even though it's fair use. But we'll see. People, I'm not going to watch this over the documentary any day soon. I don't think. Hardly anyone will notice me. But anyway, it's your loss. Have your opinion in the comments and I'll reply back. Everything's running sweet from what I see with all my new tweaks, so I'm pretty happy. I don't think it's corrupted or anything, is it? No, I just can't hear anything, but you never know. You never know, something still might happen. A faster computer solves a lot of the problems, though. But I've tweaked it, so the main crucial parts of streaming is getting most of the CPU, which should reduce corruptions. Oh, I told you it would be coming up to 3 hours. So I'm just going to end it now before it hits 3 hours.